rocking. I try to let a few doors walk, but if that freezer runs low, I gotta stock it. These scrub bucks got no mask, darn sure no drop times, but this chili has deer burger in it tonight.
Where did this podcast go? Straight to hell. Yeah, speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
Fantastic.
First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool. Okay. Whole hunt, you live it, you breathe it.
It's a whole different world.
This East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind to it.
You guys are fucking awesome.
I want to feel like I'm staying with the voice.
But I actually saw Jesus.
The point where he's now where it's insane.
I just want to get the realest people possible in the industry.
You know, if you're not pissing people off, you're not doing it right.
Welcome back to another episode of East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. We're just slaying and playing in Harrisburg Great American Outdoor Show. This show is sponsored by Shabin Brewing, 100 Demons, Trev's Euros, Ethics Archery, Scranton Power Sports, Nor'easter Game Calls, Wild Edge Inc., and the hunting brand in the hunting industry, Working Class Bowhunter. And today we're joined by Kaitlyn Moss and her duo hunting partner, Brittany Barnhart. Totally independent. They're making a name for themselves, and they're the real deal East Coast Slayers. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
So, what brings you to Harrisburg? Is this something you guys do every day? Or every year, rather?
This is our first time in Harrisburg, but last year was our first show season officially. We didn't make it to a lot of shows, but this year we decided to go ahead and try and, roundabout hit as many as we could.
Hell yeah. Which ones did you hit up?
So far, we've been to ATA this year and SHOT Show.
Nice.
So it's our third show.
Hell yeah. ATA was hot. Word, Kate?
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of fun.
I bet. Scent Crusher always kills it, don't they?
I see bags everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
They
It's
start
like
throwing
orange.
them around to people if you don't see them.
Yeah. That's G is up on the podcast tonight, guys. That was Modern Assassin tuning in. He's been kind of chiming in because we got to exploit his independency, too.
East Coast.
East Coast. That's what I'm talking about. So let's start with Kaitlyn Moss. Who are you? Where are you from? Where can we find you?
Well, I am actually from 30 minutes north of Harrisburg here. And I have Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is K8LIN_M_34. Facebook's more personal, Kaitlyn Moss. Instagram's the main platform, and I have a YouTube channel, but I don't have a lot released right now, and it's KNM Outdoors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
You may not have a lot on there, but you got good content. I've seen some of your YouTube. There's no doubt.
Thanks.
Brittany Barnhart, who are you? Where are you from? And where can we find you?
So I'm originally from Florida, and there's not a lot of great deer hunting there if you know anything about Florida. And so I went and moved to Missouri. So that's where we are together now.
Nice.
I am on Instagram as well. I made mine a little more simple. It's just Britt Barnhart. So you can type that a lot easier than K8NM.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cool or something, and just kind of stuck, I guess.
It works.
We're just, chilling in Missouri for now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just while
Whereabouts?
she's finishing college.
Oh, nice.
Just 45 minutes east of Kansas City right now.
Nice.
And we have a hunting property an hour south of us that we, get to hunt. And then we have some public down there as well.
Oh, that's sweet.
Living off what y'all stocked in the freezer this fall?
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
No
Every
kidding.
single day.
No veggies, just meat.
Nice. Protein is good.
The hunter's
So-
diet.
Yeah, exactly.
It is,
That's awesome. So what got you in the woods, Brittany?
my mom, actually, and her mom, too.
That's
We're
awesome.
a family of women hunters, so that's kind of cool just because my dad actually calls me up and asks me for tips about hunting. No lie.
Really?
Yes, and he killed his first buck this past season. It was so cool to hear him. So
That's
excited.
pretty awesome.
With a bow?
It was with a gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. It was
Still
during
cool.
rifle season. Yeah, I helped him pick out a scope and everything. He was so excited.
Yo, how badass is that?
And it brings it full circle because one of the things these guys talk about as soon as they open up is bringing new and old hunters into the woods. So it's really cool that you could not only introduce who people would think your mentor would be, your father, but for you to take him into the woods and be successful, that's something different and really badass. I mean, that's awesome.
You.
It really is. That's really cool. So it's passed on Shabeen. so you could say it's passed on generation to generation then.
Yeah. My grandmother's brothers, she's the only girl, they're all really big hunters, and those are my great uncles, and we go hunt their property off, whenever we feel like hunting on private. But just from my grandma to my mom to me, really.
That's really cool.
So how did the two of you guys connect?
Wait. Before we get to that, let's hear Kaitlyn's story on what got her in the woods, and then we'll train, because that's a good question actually, and I want to hear it. But I just want to hear Kaitlyn's version of what got her in the woods.
So my dad is a huge deer hunter. He's like the most obsessed person I know when it comes to deer hunting. And my very first memory, I love telling this story because it's hilarious. My very first memory of hunting, I want to say I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I was too small for like the safety orange, because he's a big rifle hunter. And my mom was always working during the day, so my dad would take me hunting with him, and I was too small for safety orange, so he put me in like a pumpkin Halloween costume.
That is epic.
Literally, and I remember I remember wearing it and going out. I don't really remember the hunt, but I just remember that aspect of it, and I mean, I've just been hunting ever since. And
that was just to make you look orange and not to make you look like bait, right?
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, Trev, you had a question now, right?
Yeah, how did you two get together and hunt together and so on and so forth? Where'd you guys meet?
So, we have a mutual friend. Actually, I'm going to tell the real story. I have an old YouTube channel that I'm embarrassed to even look at anymore, but it was a hunting channel that I made in middle school. And
really?
Yeah, and I met friends from all over the country, and it wasn't anything special, but I met people, and I met one person who was her boyfriend,
my high school boyfriend
from Florida, and
No longer.
We're really great friends, but
okay.
he lives in Florida and I live in Missouri. It's long distance,
I'm sure guys want to know tuning in.
Yeah,
maybe some girls too. So you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, but it was literally coincidence that her and I went to the same college in Missouri. What are the odds?
We sing
of that?
the Meet in the Middle song sometimes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he was like, "Hey, Brittany goes here, and you guys like to do the same stuff, and you should hang out." And so, for a while, we knew about each other, but we didn't really actually hang out. And then one day, she texted me. She's like, "Do you want to go turkey hunting?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go turkey hunting." And that was the very first time we ever saw each other, met, hung out, and we went turkey hunting.
Picked her up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Damn, what a way to meet for the first time.
I know.
And that's kind of like with a lot of us. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your background's from, north, south, whatever. You got that common interest of getting in the woods and chasing some game, and it's kind of, don't take people long to become friends when you got a common interest like that. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100% on that.
That's how we get along.
Exactly, same thing. We're all just diehard bell hunters. That's why, as soon as I met you guys, is like we've been friends for a long time. Kaitlyn and I have been talking for a while, and Brittany, because their Instagrams is either the story is them driving somewhere in the car to go hunt, or it's the two of them hunting. I mean, they're real deal. So I followed the both of them. Same thing. Just met them at the show here. We sit down, we talk like we've known each other for a while because we have that common interest, and kind of all the same thing we're looking for.
It's in the blood.
Exactly. No, exactly. And it was like last night, all the boys were together at Garrett's camp last night, and it was like we've been friends for our whole entire lives, and we never skipped a beat. But honestly, we all physically met yesterday, more or less. You met Andrew and them, but it's just cool how it comes together, especially, the two of you guys being college friends.
Yeah.
Well, now you guys are now roommates, right?
Yeah. We have an apartment.
That's the best way to tackle it. I mean, you got your hunting buddy living with you, you know?
No, it's the
Knock,
best
knock,
thing.
knock.
Literally, are you awake? We got to get going. It's getting daylight.
So what is your guys' favorite weapon of choice, actually?
Bows.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, you can tell your roommates. You guys answered at the same time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think
Finish
you guys
each
were
other's
twins.
sentences.
Yeah.
Twins.
Yeah, that's how you know you're spending a lot of time with each other. That's
yeah.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and elaborate a little bit. Do you hunt tree stands? Do you ground blind hunt? Spot and stalk? What's your preference choice, Brittany?
I mean, spot and stock is so fun. I think I've had more fun doing that than anything, especially with my bow. But, I mean, we kind of do it all, really. I mean, we've sat in ground blinds this year. We've sat in the tree stand this year and last year. And it just depends on what we're hunting, I guess. And every opportunity that we get, it's always different. And, you know, Kansas, we were put on turkey. We were chasing the turkey, you know, with a decoy. So, which I'd never done that before. It's the coolest thing ever.
Wow, that's cool.
So everything's different everywhere we go. It's always different, but I enjoy everything, really.
Got to adapt to the situation.
Do, though.
Yeah.
As a hunter, you
Exactly.
do.
You can't wait for the hunt to work out the way you want it. You got to get in there and make
You
the hunt
do.
happen.
You do.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to be successful.
For sure. Without a doubt. That's the main goal, anyways. And what about you? What's your go-to, anyways, Kaitlyn?
Well, if I'm being honest, I grew up hunting on the ground. Well, when I grew up, I was mostly a rifle hunter, and then my dad bought me a crossbow. So I've killed most of my animals with a crossbow, but it's literally situational. It just depends what's going on, and if I got a bad wind for my one stand, I'll sit on the other side of the ground, in the field edge or whatever I got to do. I actually killed a doe that way this year. I was on the ground, and I just hid in a bush. I knew where they were coming out, and I just waited, and it worked out. So it kind of just depends what's going on and what we're hunting. I mean, deer, elk, it just depends. So
That's really cool.
And off of that, so what is your favorite animal to chase?
Oh, whitetails, hands
Oh,
down.
really?
Whitetail?
How about you, Brittany?
Whitetails.
Whitetail fever.
Hands
That's
down.
cool. That's really cool.
I
Mostly
put
'cause I
on
like
a hell of
eating
a
it.
turkey tour, but apparently whitetails are game.
Hey, I mean, the end result is great.
I'm a little pickier with whitetails, but I mean, we killed some turkeys this past year, but whitetails are for sure the best.
What do you mean you're a little pickier? Can you
I'm
elaborate?
not gonna just shoot the first whitetail that comes out, but the first longbeard that comes out, he's dead.
I gotcha.
And she's going to get mad. I'm putting her on the spot here, but she can talk turkey like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, yeah?
She's got a little
Diaphragm
talent
call?
of turkey talk.
Oh, no.
Come on. What, with a diaphragm or naturally right now?
Natural.
Oh, it's not good though.
Let's hear
But
it.
they do answer me. Hold on, now I'm nervous.
Dude, that shit is sick.
That's
That's
awesome.
good, though.
She had a video. You were scouting public land, I think,
In Pennsylvania for the
and
late
saw
season.
turkeys. And I thought she had a call in her hand when she was taking this Instagram video doing that, and then she turned it around. I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Right.
I mean, and I told her right away. I was like, "You may not think that's good, but I'm telling you, if you practice that, you don't even need to carry your call anymore.
It was
That's
funny.
some legit turkey talk."
I had them fired up, and they were coming in, and I mean, they weren't going to come in the whole way, but I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, because I never did that. I was just messing around to see if they'd answer me. And
Well,
it's
and
the
you had
fall.
them gobbling. Exactly. There was snow on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
isn't like spring when they're, answering back. She
Yeah.
had gobblers coming after her in the middle of the snow. It's pretty impressive.
Hell yeah. That's badass. That's awesome. So where do you guys hunt mainly right now?
Where?
Yeah.
I mean,
All
kinda
over.
everywhere, but I mean, Missouri is our home base, but we've just had so many opportunities to go out of state and hunt that we haven't ever had before, so we've been taking the opportunities,
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite state?
So far?
Mine is Kansas.
That's a good one.
What's the reason behind that? Why do you like Kansas?
Pronghorn?
Just just abundance of game, really. I mean, I've done deer hunts and turkey hunts there, and it's just, even if you're not going to necessarily shoot something, you're always seeing something. So, I don't know. At least my experience, I've had good
They
success
have
there.
muleys and pronghorn there, too, so that's actually a really good state.
Yeah, it's a good overall state.
Hell yeah.
How
What
about you,
Brittany?
Brittany?
I really liked Wyoming. We worked really hard for my elk, and I wasn't successful, but it was we would wake up to the most beautiful mountain views, and I just loved it. And there was so much wildlife running everywhere amok, and it was too cool. And we were like yanking the video camera out so quick, putting it in slow-mo, like run little pronghorns. And you know, if there was elk, we were like, you know. So
that's awesome.
It was too fun.
That's really cool. So you guys mentioned you guys went to ATA. The both of you went to ATA?
Yes.
What was the number one product that just shot out to you?
This year, I think we weren't as impressed as we were last year.
Okay.
There wasn't a lot of new product launchings from companies. It was a lot of last year's stuff.
Yeah.
We noticed that.
I would say maybe that gut checker thing.
Oh, yeah. The sticker you can put on your arrow, and it, as long as your arrow makes a pass through, then you can see where you hit, whether it was, you know.
It shows you the blood or whatever, and
Yes.
it kind of helps you determine.
The paper
if you
turns a
can't-
color.
Yeah,
Nice.
it turns a certain color to determine where your shot placement was.
That's pretty cool. Working Class, our title sponsor, Working Class Bowhunter, they actually touched on that subject because they covered ATA show. They actually, I don't know if you guys knew, they had an episode with Aaron Lewis and the Bone Collector crew, Waddell, Nick Munt, and T-Bone. So that's another good podcast to like follow and check out.
We're pretty good friends with him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you friends with?
Well, she's better friends with their camera guy, so we talk to Michael a lot and T-Bone.
The producer, I know him
Oh,
pretty
cool.
well. I mean, we know all of them. We actually hunted Texas turkeys with, like, we were in camp with them last year.
Nice.
So we got to hang out and, you know, kind of get to know them on a more personal level and stuff.
Right. They're
so.
really down to earth. They're cool people.
Yeah.
They really
down
are.
to
Are you guys going to be able to make the Iowa Classic this year or what?
I think we're going to go. We
I
went
think, yeah,
last year.
We did go last year. I think we're going to make a day trip of it just because we're only a couple hours away.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. If you guys make it to Iowa, we'll lay down another track for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll actually it'd be really cool if we do it after the show. Would be really cool.
Yeah, because then.
Because we got the whole Working Class crew and East Coast. I mean, we got a spot, so it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be deer talk, deer camp, basically.
Yeah.
And don't worry, the boys behave. I'm sure you guys put us in check anyway. So
You guys do enough driving to go hunting. That ain't that far of a trip
exactly.
for you.
No, it's not.
We're running the 18 hours, I think, on that, right, G? Something like that.
Yeah,
How
18
long,
hours.
How long is it for you, though?
I have no idea. I'm meeting up with the East Coast crew and we rolling. That's about all I know.
Rolling deep. Bring the East Coast to the
He don't give a
Midwest.
shit.
Tell me where to be, what time, and make sure you got me some shabeen.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I think it's like less than 4 hours from us.
Yeah.
We could probably
That's
do that in our
sweet.
sleep.
That's
Probably.
sweet.
It was 18 hours for us here. So.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of us going down. So we actually have another guy that's on our podcast with us, which is Ryan. We call him Ryan the porn star. So he'll be with us. Andrew's going. He's going to have a booth from Wild Edge. Garrett's going to come with us, and then me and D-Rock. So we're road tripping halfway across the country to go to Iowa Deer Classic. So
It's going to get wild, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a bit roadhouse, but controlled, I think. I mean, I just learned that I need to bring more cases of Shabeen.
Why are you looking at me when you're saying it should stay under control? I felt a strange look there.
No. It's actually it's funny you mentioned that because I sent a group text out to the boys, the whole crew, and, you know, to kind of just go down on what the goals are and how we have to be and definitely stay in line, you know. And then Garrett sends me a GIF from, what was that GIF? What show was that?
I think it was Peaky Blinders.
It was Peaky Blinders, and it's just hilarious.
No fighting. No fighting.
It was funny because he's like, I feel like this is what you meant to say, and he's like, no fighting,
Yes.
and you no fighting. So more or less, I think it'll be under control. It'll be a lot of fun, though. It'd be cool
I'll
to
be
catch
on my
up.
best behavior, I promise.
All right, cool.
You have some of the craziest
blip.
East Coast savages traveling halfway across the country. So it's
going to be a good time, though, because we're going to meet up with all our boys, and then you guys can meet Working Class. I mean, they're
Yeah.
really, really cool people. I'm really good friends with all of them. They're family, and it's a close, tight group. Everyone's really, really good people, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Sounds fun.
What are your guys' goals, though? Let's start with Kaitlyn. Your goals for 2019 as far as hunting?
Well, we have the same goals.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Brittany and I are basically a duo, I guess you could call us. We're in the process of coming up with maybe a brand for ourselves, like collectively. And right now we want to have a show, whether it's on YouTube or television. We're not really sure what outlet quite yet, but we're still in the premature stages of everything. But we potentially want to get some sponsors. I don't know, up in the air with that. But we want to do a show.
Funding.
Just a little bit. Yeah, we need a little money. But.
Working class.
Well, in my opinion, y'all are doing it right. You're doing your thing. You're hunting. You're not doing things for sponsors. You're not doing it to make yourself look like something, to please a sponsor, to please a crowd. You guys are out there really hunting, doing your real shit. And it shows in your videos and your posts that you guys are, you're out here having a good time. You're not here to be Miss Insta Huntress. I hate to say it, but you know what I mean. That's what it is. You guys are
you're not
out there
famous,
doing
you're
it
the
for
real
real.
deal. Yeah.
Well, currently we have 0 sponsors. I mean, there's companies that we, do a little bit of work for and work with, but, officially it's all our choice, really. So sponsorship would be more just because we want to do this as much as we can, and, obviously if we're on the road all the time and hunting all the time, it makes it hard to have jobs, and so money would be nice to have, but a show is kind of in the works, and we already film and kind of produce already, so it's just a matter of keeping it going.
It sounds like you need to run into my buddy Jordan Johnson with Combination Creative. He's definitely down to earth dude, and he's got the exposure and the skill. You're talking about being a brand and getting exposed. He does it all. He does logos, music, intro. Music is his forte for sure. Very Combination Creative for a reason. And he's definitely got the exposure in the industry. It'd be a good connect for sure. Again, Iowa, I think, would be a really good place to just let your team be known and show your faces.
Jordan with Combination Creative is that dude.
He's on fire.
Yeah, he's whether it be a logo, a theme, music, dude kills it. I got a lot of respect for Jordan Combination Creative. He's a badass.
Yeah, he actually is working with the Modern Assassin and East Coast Bowhunting podcast, and he is the main team member for Working Class Bowhunters, so he's all over. He did a logo for Whitetail Drifter. He's on the rise. Connor Wakefield. Everyone's. It seems like this is the platform and the era where conservation and conservationists are really going to unite in numbers, and it's so cool to see the up and rising stars before they're big, because then they don't forget about us little guys, right, Trev?
Where we're going. A bunch of nobodies.
And it's not even about that. It's just knowing the right people, networking, and then having that common interest and being friends with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome to meet him. I mean, even just to get a friendship out of it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to make the Iowa, but I could definitely make that connect for sure.
We're going to try to con him into it, but I got a question for you guys. I mostly self-film. So, question is, how do you decide who's hunting and who's filming?
Good question.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm writing that down
is that
in my
for
notes.
real? Do you guys go to rock, paper, scissors, or do you, one of you have a spot for a certain wind, and that's how you choose based on conditions, or how do you choose who's hunting, who's filming, and?
It mostly just depends off of who has the most time, or who's. Some places, I'm offered a hunt, or some places she's offered a hunt, and the other one films. Other than that, if it's at home, it's whoever is leaving first. So sometimes she goes to Pennsylvania home for the Christmas, and so I'm there filming until she gets a deer, and then, when she leaves, I just self-film a little bit, if I can get on a deer.
And sometimes, because I do primarily public hunting. Because I like to make it harder on myself for some reason. But so her uncle has land, so a lot of times, I'll film her on that parcel, and then, she'll film me on the public, or, we do switch it up. It just depends. It really just
pretty
depends.
much what you were saying before, as far as do you hunt stand, do you hunt blind? It's all situational.
Everything.
Absolutely.
I gotcha.
Yes.
Now that we're talking about it, so what's your biggest whitetail? You talked about how you're a little bit more pickier.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to know. What's your biggest whitetail?
So 142-inch 8-point from Kansas.
Wow, a 148.
That's impressive.
Wow. How about you, Brittany?
I do not have mine officially scored, but it's around. I base it, based off of what I think it is, and it's around 130, over 130 inches.
That's a good buck. That's a good buck. I know a guy that could score it too for you.
I should just get a measuring tape out and get it done, but I just like looking at it at the wall and imagining that it's maybe a little bit bigger than I think it is.
Tell you what. Bring. I mean, if you can, bring it to Iowa.
Okay.
I'll make sure it gets scored.
Thank you.
And it's not, and I didn't mean to put it like that. Like it's not that it's important about how big a buck is, but it's just the fact that you two are young ladies that have killed big bucks and bigger than some males in the industry, and you guys set yourself aside from that.
Which goes to show it's sky's the limit. You do your homework, you're going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
It was more or less, I asked that just to tell the listeners at home that what you
You're
guys
legit.
really are into.
Well,
you guys are legit.
The thing is for us, though, like, I mean, it's not always about the score either. Like, I like to try to shoot mature deer if I can. Public land, it's not easy, but, it can happen.
Age over inches given opportunity.
Well, if the freezer's empty, I usually shoot a doe because I'm just, like, ready to shoot something at that point. But it's situational. It just depends. But,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
You're just real. You're just a real hunter.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just like getting out there. It's not always about the kill.
Cool. So if you had one good piece of advice, and I ask you both as a team, not just for women, but new hunters in the field, what would that be?
Go ahead.
That's legit, though.
Ask for help. Real. Ask for help. Because a lot of people are afraid, I think, especially if they don't have anybody like close to them that has, that outlet for them. If it's something that interests you, reach out to somebody, because I think overall the hunting industry, you're going to find some really nice people, really down to earth. We really do like to hunt. It's our passion, and we want to share it with other people. And we want this industry to grow. We're a pretty small industry, and I feel like everybody knows everybody at some point. So, it's like a family thing, really, when it comes down to it. So just ask for help, and, if you're interested, somebody will help you.
That's actually really good advice. What you got, G?
And I've seen you guys on both sides of the coin with that. I follow you guys' social media and all, and I see, you guys aren't afraid to ask for help, but you guys are also questioned a lot because you are out there every day. You are successful in what you're doing. And, I've seen that you guys always take the time to answer people, explain, engage with people. So, it's nice that you bring that up to go ahead and ask for help, but at the same time, you're out there giving the help you can. You're not afraid to ask for help, and if you have the answers, you're there to offer and help other people as well.
Well, we like to run our pages like,
average hunters. Average hunters.
Well, that... as we go.
The world's okayest hunter?
Everyday hunters,
And we don't claim to know everything, and we're still learning. You can never stop learning.
And you don't pretend to be. That's one of the biggest things that sets fake people apart from real people, is the fake people, they know everything. Yeah. They know exactly what the deer are going to do. They know everything. And
that shot placement
the real hunters,
great.
You never pretend to know everything. As soon as you know everything, that's when you've kind of lost it. You've lost touch.
Yeah. And during season, it's kind of like, we run our pages like, hey guys, all right, this is what we're doing today. We're going to this stand because the wind is like this, or, whatever. And we kind of explain it as we go. And then at the end of the day, if it goes wrong, then we're like, all right, this is what we did wrong. This is what we can fix and, potentially make it better for the next day or whatever. So
raw, real, no bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
So now that we're on that subject with wind and whatnot, what hunting app do you guys use? Or do you use a hunting app at all?
Onyx.
You do use Onyx?
We love Onyx.
Okay.
Cool. Every day.
Because there's a lot out there. And there's a lot up and coming hunting apps out there as well. Bryce Stone with the Hunter site, he's actually out of Texas as well, and he developed something legit. And it's actually, believe it or not, when it comes down to the logistics and demographics, it's actually the best one out, I think. But it's not in app.
Mobile.
Yeah, it's not mobile app platform.
Okay.
which some people will look at it as a downfall, but at the same token, you could totally use your phone, and it's user-friendly on your phone. But there's a lot to go into there. I don't want to even... I was just curious, because personally, what are you, Mexican? Aye. But Trev and I use Hunt Stand. What do you got?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying is that the Hunter site, that website, or that platform it's just like every Onyx, Hunt Stand, so on and so forth, all put into one. And I think that it's a lot more, but I think...
It's legit.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's definitely something worth looking out.
Yeah. It's so new,
They
too.
are working on a mobile platform as well.
Yep.
It's just not available right now.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
Interesting.
What do you think that was?
Sounds like an Indian.
It was a ninja tip.
Oh,
Yeah.
a ninja tip. Oh.
So, ninja tip of the day. Brittany, what you got?
Going back to Onyx, I mean, no matter what mobile app you're using, geographical maps are important, and if you don't know the area, you should get to know the area somehow, and geographical maps makes that super easy on you, and why not use that accessibility if you can? And if you're walking out to your stand in the dark and you can pinpoint where your stands are and check the wind right when you get out there and know which stand you should go to in the dark, it's easier just to locate it through this mobile app or whatever platform you can use. I think that's
a really good ninja tip, because I've done it before. Remember, it was we
opening day.
No, not opening day. It was we were checking new Franklin Swamp, that one little parcel, and remember, it was so new. You've been in there a few times before me, and I used the actual Hunt Stand app to navigate through the woods in the dark.
Yeah, and I've seen you guys talk about that you've been out on public hunts and you're using Onyx to find your land and everything. And I remember I don't know where you all were, what you were hunting, but you guys actually had to leave and take like a 40-minute drive to get to service, to where you could download some offline maps.
Yeah.
So you're still using Onyx offline to make sure you know where you're at. So that is definitely an excellent ninja tip. Good call, because everyone does need to know where they're at, what they're doing, and someone else should too, just in case.
absolutely.
So, Kaitlyn, what do you got? Ninja tip of the day.
I would say just be able to adapt. It's kind of going back to the situational thing. If your wind is changing or whatever, and it kind of ties into Onyx or whatever, but, we've had certain situations where, like, I'll be in the stand and my wind is just wrong, and I'm like, I need to get down. This is not working. Like, I just don't feel like I need to be here, and I've literally moved, and sure enough, I see deer, and I'm like, okay, and always learn from your experiences, because, that can just help you the next time. So I would say, just be able to adapt to the situation, and it has helped me at least.
That's really good too.
Yeah, I mean, you think about throughout the season, everything is changing in the woods, and the whitetail are constantly changing and adapting.
Yeah.
And if you're not changing and adapting your approach, you're behind the game,
Right. You're going to be you're limiting yourself to your slaying success for sure. So all this positivity going around brings us to the next segment. Kaitlyn, what rattles your antlers?
Oh, well, I would say right now what rattles my antlers is just hunters picking apart each other.
Amen. Amen to that.
And social media definitely has a lot to do with that. And
Keyboard warriors.
Everybody has something to say about something, and if it's not their way, it's wrong and stuff like that. So, we're all out here. We all love the same thing. Like, why do we have to pick each other apart? We're already a small industry. Like, we should be supporting each other. Yeah, there's certain things you probably shouldn't do, but if it's legal, ethical, and you're out there having fun, don't pick each other apart. That just drives me crazy.
Exactly. That's really good. It's funny you bring that up. You guys should check out the Zeus Broadhead booth real quick, because that's a hot topic, that episode. It's spot on. The keyboard warriors, like you said, Brittany. So what rattles your antlers?
Well, we get a lot of times we, in my opinion, get picked apart a lot more than other, male hunters because we're referred to as the Insta huntresses. And we may have a small following, but they're all hunters, and they care about what we're doing, and we care about what they're doing, and we care about their support. And they follow us because they're interested to see what we're doing, and we've shown quite a bit of legitimacy according to other people that have messaged us. But we get torn down a lot. I actually had a ton of people come after me last week because one of my photos got shared about my Texas buck, and everyone was saying that I made an unethical shot on it. And I tagged everyone that said that in the video I posted of
because
the
they
shot
were there,
I
right?
made. Yes, of the shot I made, which the deer was a little bit spooky, but I waited 20 minutes for him to calm down, and then I made a shot. Whenever the strings hit, he jumped, and that's when the arrow the path wasn't perfect. I'm not going to lie. It was a kill shot, though. It was.
Exactly.
And he did die, and I found him. And it found him 4 days later because he ran to to a pond and drowned himself, essentially. And then when he floated to the top is when I was able to find him with my arrow sticking out, and the thing is, it was ethical, and to me, it was ethical. To me, it was fair, and I didn't get to harvest the meat, obviously. That was such a bummer for me, super disappointing, and a lot of people didn't see it like that.
That's heartbreaking sometimes.
It was. For me, it was, and I cried almost every night,
I bet.
It's because it means so much to me. Conservation means a lot to me, harvesting the meat, and, that's so important to both of us. And so when I did find the deer, it was super relieving, but people did not hesitate to rip me apart on that. And
because they're all so perfect, and they make the perfect shot every time, and it's crazy.
That makes me feel a little bit better about myself, I guess, because that's really when you and I first started talking. I watched that video, and I have trained a tracking dog, and I have been on well over 200 deer tracks. So right away, I reached out to you. I was like, okay, what did the deer do this? What sign did you have? What here? Because, again, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help a fellow hunter. And the first thing I said to you when I met you was, congrats on that buck, because you spent 4 days looking for it.
I was not going to give up.
I wasn't. Won't spend that time
That's
trying
awesome.
to kill one even, let alone trying to find one after the shot. So that was the first thing I commended you on, was way to keep at it for 4 days through all the bullshit everyone's giving you too. And you did what you did. And I will agree. When you made that shot, it was an ethical shot. I think you took an ethical shot. It was a quartering away deer. It's an ethical shot. It was just situational. And we've all had it where a deer moves like a ninja or whatever else it is.
Super ninja.
It's not always perfect,
Also, it was 40 yards, which is, for a whitetail, that's a distance.
It is. It gives
I would
anything
say,
can happen.
I watched the video. I would say yes. I would have taken that shot, and I wouldn't have felt unethical about it all.
I didn't. And I stood up for myself against every single person because they deserve to know and understand. Because when you don't understand, then you hate what you don't understand.
Yep.
So they were all hating on me until I took the time to talk to each and every single one of them and tell them, hey, this is what happened actually, and I'll let you know about it. Because I'm not going to be that girl who lets people walk all over me or tell me how to hunt or tear me down.
Right.
Because it's not fair. And when you do explain it to these people, then they get it and they feel guilty. And I've had people block me because they tucked their tail. And I'm like, sorry, but I'm not going to back down, and I'm not going to be weak.
Exactly.
So,
damn,
you're going to be savage to me. Like, you're going to get a little bit back. So.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, respect. I won't fuck with you.
And the fact of going out of your way for 4 days to try and find that buck, like that's a
Legit.
Dedication.
Yeah, that is dedication, and most wouldn't do that.
I
honestly.
crawled through, if you know anything about Texas brush, through the senderos, the Texas brush squares are
no
savage, pointy spikes coming at you at every direction. And I crawled just looking for an inkling of blood, any inkling.
That's crazy.
On very close to the ground, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But I was determined because I knew that was a kill shot. And I watched the video over and over again, so I knew I had a dead deer somewhere. And I was bound and determined to find it.
That's crazy.
And people were telling you to give up. I remember people you were with were telling you, hey, kind of give it
That's
up.
too bad,
but,
yeah. Sorry it got away. I was like, joke's on you. It did not get away.
Yeah. I'm excited to see your guys' team grow and expand. It's definitely going to be up and forthcoming for sure. I feel 2019, there's so much positivity going around that all the way around. I just love to see my friends and associates and networking succeed, the real motherfuckers that just bring it to the table, do their homework, and are diligent. So this way everyone supports each other. And like you said earlier, unity is everything, Kaitlyn.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're here to do. And we got to wean out the fake motherfuckers, but that'll happen with time because the industry is full of snakes. What you got, G?
Well, everything goes through cycles. And, social media is relatively a fairly new thing, especially for the hunting industry. So like anything, it's going to get flooded. But once it does, the shit that should rise to the top is going to float to the top eventually.
Yeah, the fat will float up to the top.
The cream of the crop.
Just like my beard.
The cream of the crop is going to come to the top. So, I really think it's getting to that point where the people that are real are the ones that are starting to stand out now, and not the people that necessarily post pictures of the biggest bucks or have the most sponsors.
Or the most skin.
Exactly.
Roasted.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. So on that note, let's do a round of positivity. Trev, what you got for round of positivity?
Positivity is, still being at the show and meeting new people and meeting you guys, and I think it's great. And again, like D-Rock said, is watching you guys grow because you guys got something really good coming forth, especially being women hunters.
I appreciate that.
And pushing it forward. You guys are really hardcore and serious about it, and it's just kind of funny to me, and it's actually a real big positive is listening to you guys actually. It's a tough thing.
Get
for
hyped,
me to
right?
Right, and it's like
you're just like everyone else. That's hardcore, anyways.
There's two women in front of me, and they're like hardcore. Like if I was talking to my buddies in hunting camp, it's something that I didn't grow up with. And,
we're talking
and having
the same
around.
shit.
You should hunt with us.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but like growing up, and like I had talked with Jess Breyer is that like growing up there was never women allowed in hunting camp or hunting and so on and so forth. So to see it and listen to it, it's a big positive for me, and you guys are going to grow in the industry, and I wish you guys the best of luck.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
G, what you got? Positivity.
Positive. I guess what I just touched on a second ago, that I think the industry is finally taking the turn. The pendulum is swinging back to where it's going to settle in the point of where the real people, the real guys, the real girls, all hunters, like you just said, it's like talking to any other group of hunters, sitting here with Brittany and Kaitlyn. And so positivity, I really think that the real people, the people that have the right interests and the right points and the right reasoning, the legal, the ethical, the respectful, the passionate, that's what's going to rise to the top, and it's not going to be so much of an industry thing, but back to the roots of what hunting is, and not just a financial industry. So that's what I got positive. I think we're swinging in the right direction.
Hell yeah. And let's swing to Kaitlyn Moss. Positivity, what you got?
I would say just, Brittany and I have been doing these shows only 2 years now, and just all the connections that we've made and just all the friends that we've made through this industry. It's really awesome, and I'm really thankful to be a part of something that, one, I'm passionate about, and two, that other people are passionate about. So I think that's really cool.
It makes it so easy. It's bringing it back to that. It is, I really feel like God has drawn us towards certain people, the people that are the realest, the most genuine, and the best hunters,
and people just met. Like us.
It's super cool, and I'm like, there's no coincidence that we keep meeting the greatest people, the realest people, down to earth. Genuinism is so. Like you said, there's so many snakes and fake people, and we've met those people too, because one minute they're nice to us and the next they're rude, and we're like, oh, okay, or we don't exist to them the next minute when someone else is better or whatever. And it's never like that for us. Like the people that we've met, and it's real and it feels real to us, and we are passionate about this, and so it makes it easier for us. And we always know whenever someone isn't as passionate about hunting as us, because they don't want to talk about hunting. And we're like, what are you doing here? This isn't your passion.
We're at a
Go
hunting
find
show, right?
something else. Literally, I want to tell you about
how was your season?
Yes, tell me everything about your deer hunt, that I saw online, and if they don't want to talk about it, I know where the heart really is.
That's really cool. So what I bring positive to the table is this right now, networking, being here at the show, meeting new people, people that I look up to and look forward to seeing in the industry and growing. It's going to be so badass. All three of us are your number one supporters for sure. We encourage
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks.
And I was going to be it's going to be off the chain.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm determined to go now.
So on that note, Trev, stay stepping.
Stay slaying.